Yeah, guys, part 2 of episode 11 will be coming out later on, because right now our third co-host is not here, but intro now!
Ain't nobody used to give a damn. Yeah, I had to go and make a different plan. Yeah, guess who didn't get included, even though you made me better. Yo, I strictly do it for the fam.
Welcome back to What Grinds Our Gears!
The show that is so random we have no rules, and sadly, Sally is not with us.
No! No! Oh, God!
But that is okay, we wish for a speedy recovery, and she shall join us next week, hopefully.
Hopefully. And since we don't want to go over the topic of vampires without her, we're going over the next line of succession of supernatural beings, the Natural Immortals.
Dun dun dun!
Now, this one kind of has various different sources as to how the Natural Immortals came to be. Certain people say it starts off with the gods and goddesses from the ancient Babylonian text that goes all the way through various different mythologies that's passed throughout the generations. Other people say it's from the whole creation myth about how originally Adam and Eve, if you guys are Christian, were supposed to be the original immortals before they chewed fruit from the tree of knowledge. There is no real key source as to how it all began.
Yeah, I don't know of any. I do know, adding on to your Christian thing, if you read the Bible, which I have actually read the Bible a very long time ago, if you look at the ages of the early characters in the book, like Noah and Moses and, like, I'm talking like Genesis book, Noah was 900 years old when he built the ark. So this is a thing that has been around for a very long time. And all the characters, Abraham, Noah, the sons of Abraham, they all lived for like thousands of years, or 1,000 years, or something like that, until God basically said, man is obviously not worthy to live this long. It kind of drives them mad after a while. You kill each other, you do weird things, so no more are you going to be living for 900 years.
No man shall see 1,000. They can live for 900, but if you reach 1,000, fuck no. God!
Right. Yes. So, I obviously that's not immortal, but that'd be
longevity can be viewed as immortal.
Well, look at Wolverine. Hell, technically he's immortal until somebody encased him in adamantium.
But he's still technically alive in adamantium.
Right? That's what I said. Marvel, you tricksters. He's coming back. Anyways.
Well, yeah, if they brought back Jean Grey like 7 times, they need to bring back Wolverine. Fuck.
Once. He hasn't died in the comics yet. I mean, really died, right? I mean, other than those. Anyways. Natural Immortal. So my introduction to the Natural Immortal was actually the Highlander movies. That was my first, at a very young age. My sister was in love with the Highlander, especially, was it Adrian Paul? Is he the TV series Highlander?
I believe it was Adrian Paul.
Yes, she was just in love with him. Christopher Lambert was my favorite because he was the original. I like the originals. Whatever. So, what is the basic guidelines for an immortal? They can die.
It kind of varies depending on the lore that you kind of wander into. For certain people, in, say, the Greeks, for example, immortal means basically being able to ascend towards godhood to be with the people on Mount Olympus, such as Hercules, Bellerophon, Theseus, and I believe Perseus were all given immortality, where they basically became gods amongst their own heroes, where they actually attained godly powers along such things.
Would it kill in that category as well?
They can,
no,
but
die.
Well, they can with like Iker being bled out, because they have showcased that gods can kill other godly beings, like the giants being basically slain by the Titans being basically slain by the gods, and so forth and so on.
Well, if you follow Herculean lore, Heinz blood can kill a god. I'm talking about the show Hercules from back in the 90s with Kevin. Anybody recognizes that, just give a shout out.
Yeah. But it all kind of varies. Like, I remember I used to date this one girl that was Hebrew that told me about my first introduction of the Wandering Jew, which was this one Jewish character that was kind of on this one wandering mission for some unknown reason to her, because she didn't really keep up with the Torah, where he just wandered on endlessly without aging or really dying, but his mind just kept expanding, just attaining all the knowledge of the world for God or whatever.
And that was his goal, was just to attain knowledge, and...
I don't really know. That's the thing.
Well, I don't know anything about the religious immortals. I just kind of... I see things and I put connections between things. Like, technically Dracula is an immortal. Obviously he can be killed, but he's damn near invincible, according to much lore.
Many comic book characters are listed as immortal from the lack of killability.
Right, Deadpool, for one. Wolverine, except for that they just recently killed him, but he's technically not dead, I don't see.
Yeah, I don't see him being dead, but then again...
He's in a prison he can't escape, so... any of the Weapon X program's clones of Wolverine, I guess, could technically be immortal, like 23, who's the one that just recently made friends with Deadpool. Apocalypse is another one who's technically immortal.
Yeah, they can never keep him down.
No, never. Well, he is an interesting villain if they, kind of expand on his origin. I think
and
he'd be
do him right.
So, are there any more recent immortals that have been created? Let's say in the past few 100 years.
The past few 100 years would just be from the YA genre. There have been a couple of fictional immortals, like in my least favorite book series of the Shadowhunter series, there's a magician by the name of Magnus Bane who is immortal for whatever cursed reason have you. In manga, there is a protagonist in Seven Deadly Sins of Meliodas who is cursed to live forever by his father, the Demon King.
I actually like that. I watched the anime on Netflix, but season 2 is only 4 episodes, so I don't get that.
But it gave me enough time to voice act as a Sconner as a voice acting attempt, so whatever. In certain cases of other books, you could say that the kids in Sherilyn Kenyon's Chronicles of Nyx series are technically immortal, like Zev or Caleb, or even Nick's ghost girlfriend Nakoda are immortal, while Nick can be immortal since he's the ultimate demon that can command all sorts of creatures. But we'll get into more of my whole thing with the Chronicles of Nyx stuff when we talk about demons later down the line.
How about, there was a movie that came out not too long ago, I think it's a few years, maybe 2 years or a year, The Last Witch Hunter, which Vin Diesel starred in, which I'm sure got a lot of panning from the crowd, but
it did.
I enjoyed it. Mostly because of the thought behind it. Vin Diesel in that movie technically is not immortal. He's a human being who is a witch, or not a witch, he's a witch hunter, sorry. But he can use spells and other alchemy and things like that, magic, so to speak, to defeat witches. But in that movie, he's immortal because of the witch's heart. I like that, the whole binding of something to another person. So Vin Diesel is bound to this witch, the one witch, to rule them all, so to speak. And her heart, as long as that heart is beating, his will remain beating as well, and he cannot die.
It's a solid premise, but...
And I like it because what happened was the witch used a curse, not only on herself, but on Vin Diesel. So that, basically to keep Vin Diesel from killing her, right? So what she did is, I'm going to put a curse on myself that says, I can't die unless you destroy my heart. And on top of that, I'm going to say that you can't die until you destroy my heart. So basically, in order to save everybody you love and blah, 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 you have to kill yourself. And the way they ended the movie I thought was really kind of cool, too. Vin Diesel's still alive and blah, blah, blah. But go see the movie anyways, even if you don't like it. The whole thought of binding somebody's soul to somebody else to keep them alive for centuries or millennia, for that matter, I thought was just kind of a cool thought. As far as your favorite immortals, though, who are your favorite? Now, I'm as far as viability goes for immortals actually being able to exist, I think they're kind of on the same level as vampires. Like, are they out there walking among us right now?
I mean, Betty White is kind of close to being an immortal. I mean,
when I think of immortals, I think of Keanu Reeves. Christ, that guy hasn't aged since Bill and Ted.
him or Jeff Bridges, technically. But I'm still eyeing you, Betty White.
Yeah, the only thing that's changed on her is the color of her hair.
Pretty sneaky, Betty White.
Anyways, oh, I forgot what I was talking about.
Favorite immortals?
Oh, yes. Favorite immortals. What's your favorite immortal, B?
Honestly, it kind of came to me about the whole Immortality basically being Ed and Al's dad from the Fullmetal Alchemist manga. I don't know what it is. Like, I know his process to become immortal wasn't the most natural if you use the logical route, but in a plot sense, his immortality came about giving a lot of good story where you basically had if you were to use the main logic behind it, giving birth to half immortal children of Ed and Al that could be born in any sort of decade, having small memories that could just be intertwined in any sort of situation, and then they just progress to grow up slower and slower, having their bodies shift very slowly to give real good cause for a good alchemy / magical story in anime. I don't know what it is about that one process along with the other main process being just for some odd reason I kind of enjoy, and this might sound kind of cheesy, but I kind of enjoyed when one particular person in mythology became an immortal. Like, it's not really from old mythology, but it's kind of like from my family mythology of stuff.
Cool.
It was kind of like this old legend of this, I forget if it was a beggar or a traveler that just gained immortality just for saving this old woman instead of sacrificing his own family towards this goddess. She saw the humility in him and then granted him this whole immortality, become the god of mercy.
Huh. That's cool.
What about you?
Oh, me? I gotta cop out because I already told you my favorites.
The Highlander.
The Highlander, he is. And it's not just Christopher Lambert or Lambert. Lambert. But the whole story behind it, you know, he's living happily in the Highlands of Scotland with his wife, and a Highlander comes to plunder them, or something like that. It's been a long time since I've seen the original, so forgive my memory. Anyways, his wife dies, and he kills one of these Highlanders. Obviously, a weaker one. Ensuing, he becomes a Highlander, an immortal, by killing this one. That's how it's passed. It's kind of passed through. It's a battle. You know, in battle, whoever the victor is goes the spoils. And apparently immortality is supposed to be spoils for the victor. And
there can only be one.
There can be one. There can be only one.
Oh, and I just forgot about another immortal.
Who?
Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack's an immortal?
Technically, he couldn't age after being plunged through time by Aku.
Oh, see, I got... It's back on. It is back on Adult Swim, V. And I can't watch because I don't get Adult Swim. But he's back.
Yeah, he was back. They already showed the series finale, but it was proven that he's technically immortal because he could not age. Whether that's longevity or immortality is up for debate, but it's a kind of a natural process as a residual from magic, which can and cannot be natural.
That's, you know, that's something that confused me. The Highlander thing, that's kind of, in the movies, it's kind of portrayed as being natural. It's something given by...
Well, yeah, because it's earned.
Right, you earn it. But it's something that's given by something, right? It's something given by the gods or something. And on top of that, I like that not only a normal human can become an immortal by killing a Highlander, which you can do, apparently. On top of that, the more Highlanders that you slaughter, the more powerful you become, which is later on in the movie series, and I believe there's an actual comic series too, and a book series about it as well.
And a failed video game that never got off the ground.
Right. And basically the way it works is kind of the same premise as Jet Li's The One. Have you ever seen that?
I did. I loved it.
Which there's multiple universes in the movie The One, and in every universe there is another you. And if you're able to cross dimensions to those other universes and kill the other yous, the more powerful you become in your dimension, or any dimension for that matter. So the Highlander kind of started that with, the less Highlanders there are out there, the more powerful the few become, or more specifically, the more Highlanders you specifically kill, the more powerful you become, and the remaining Highlanders stay at the same level, you know, so to speak. So it is very possible in that lore to become godlike, not only invincible or invulnerable and immortal, but all powerful, because after killing so many, you gain certain abilities and other things. Like in, I forget the one with Mario Van Peebles, where he's able to control perception and what you see. The illusionist, basically. He could make you think one thing when in reality something else is happening. Very similar to vampirism, where they have different abilities as well. Yeah, anyways. That's my favorite. I like Highlander. I don't know why. I'm drawn to Scotland for some reason. I have some Irish blood.
We'll take a trip out to Scotland sometime.
But take him with us. He could tell us all about it.
Woo!
Even though he's listed as a Canadian actor, born in Beirut, of a Hawaiian, Chinese, American, and an English woman.
Either way. Well, I guess when it comes to the whole supernatural thing about natural immortals, it's kind of a less used trope than a lot of others we could think of, like mer people, vampirism, lipocanthia, ghosts, demons, angels. But it's a very good trope because it can show what you can use the limitations for, what you can have the whole boundaries go to, and what rules you can set up for your own universe. Will it be a good one? Will it be a bad one? That just kind of depends on you guys. And this just sounded so educational that it kind of makes me vomit.
I have to say, I think the whole natural immortals thing in lore and in movies and all that kind of died because it really intertwines with vampirism. You know, a lot of the things that the immortals can do, the vampires can do. And then the failure of the Highlander series to kick off after like the 4th movie, I think aided in that.
Well, them and how The Crow try to treat it, where it's like the first one's so good, the second one, third. Okay.